You thought it was gonna be another part 4 figure review, but it was I, Dio! Hello buddy, DK Jojo here, where it's Jojo all the time, every single video. And welcome to my unboxing and review of the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Super Action Statue Dio from Stardust Crusaders. So, little bit of a background before we get into this. So, I really love Part 3, and I really want to get some of the Part 3 figures. Namely, I want to get Polnareff, Kakyoin, and obviously, you know, Dio, Jotaro, Old Joseph, all of them. Pretty much like everybody, yeah. And I know that these are like the first ones they put out. These are the very first SASs that were made, were the Part 3 ones. So, I think these might be a bit of a step down from the ones I've been reviewing, like Rohan, Josuke, Kira. All those were so great. I think those are more like modern ones though. I think that these Part 3 ones are a little bit, are not quite as good because they're a lot older, but I wanted to see how good they are. And Dio was actually pretty darn cheap. And of course, no JoJo figure collection is complete without a Dio. So, I decided to take a chance. We're going to take a look at him today, see just how much he's aged, and see if he is good. I will be honest, looking at him in the package right now, he looks a little bit shoddy. I'm a little bit worried about this, but every collection needs a Dio, so whether or not he's terrible or not, I mean, he'll look great on the shelf, and again, every collection needs a Dio, so I feel like it's kind of a win-win here, but hopefully if he's good, I hope he's good, because then I want to go back and get Polnareff, Kakyoin, Old Joseph, all the great Stardust Crusaders characters, so let's see if he ends up being great. I have watched a ton of reviews, and a lot of people said that he was a great figure, so who knows, maybe I'll get him out, and he'll be just as great as Kira and Rohan and Josuke and all of them. But without further ado, let's jump into the review. So we have on the thing, we have Kono Dio Da, we have Dio, we have JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, we have Kono Dio Da on there, and on the back we have a ton of obligatory product shots right there. You can see he comes with the freaking road sign, that is awesome. Sticker of authenticity right there, shows you the different faces he comes with. You have Kono Dio Da, and then you have JoJo, Dio, and you can see this clearly does not says Diamond is Unbreakable because it's here on a part 3 figure. So I don't know what that says, but it says something. Okay, actually it looks pretty decent when I took him out of the cardboard box. All right, first pickup. Ooh, quality definitely doesn't feel bad. No loose joints or anything. He is not bad at all. He actually feels pretty darn good. The plastic quality feels great. Articulation's good. I think the yellow is like, there's definitely some aging to this figure. Like, it definitely does not feel like the same level of greatness as Rohan and Kira and them do. But it's not too horrible. And again, these, he's the cheapest one I've gotten so far. He was actually only about 60 bucks, which is pretty darn good, and he comes with a whole bunch of accessories, and the articulation is great. The yellow looks a little bit, I don't know, the yellow looks just a little bit shoddy, like the way they have it shaded right here, it looks like a mustard yellow, like you just swirled like 2 different mustard brands together, and you got this weird yellow, and he just painted his suit with it, and it does look a little bit weird. It doesn't really have the same like look, like awesome look that like the Kira figure did or the Rohan figure did, but we'll talk about that more in the comparisons when I actually bring them in here for comparison. But yeah, going over his suit, you know, he has this little green heart belt right there. He's got the little suspenders right here, which I think can be moved. Yes, they can. They are on little joints right there, so you can move them, which is actually pretty darn cool. He's got his little bracelets right there, looking actually pretty nice, and then he's got the little green heart things right there, and then he's got his shoes. Where'd you get those shoes? The Elf store? Oh my god, if y'all don't watch King Chris, you absolutely should. He is really great. Yeah, this figure actually looks pretty darn good. Not perfect though. I can definitely see like some aging here. Just like the color of yellow that they chose to go with here is just a little bit weird. And he does also just kind of feel a bit more spindly and a little bit less refined than the other ones I have. You know what? Let's just bring in real quick. I think the perfect way to show the age would be to bring in another one right here. You can see Kira, he's a lot more filled out. The colors are a lot less like crazy and all over the place. You can definitely see he just feels like a more modern figure. Even the sculpt of the head is definitely way sharper, way nicer, and he even just like feels a little bit better. Like the plastic even feels a bit more premium. So you can definitely feel an age difference between these two figures, but it's not as drastic as I honestly expected it to be. But yeah, here we go. We have two villains right here. I actually have another villain on the way right now. So like, yeah, I really, really like the JoJo villains, man. Can we all agree that the JoJo villains are like the best part of the show? So yeah, these two look really great together. I think the scale is pretty much perfect. Dio was definitely a taller guy. And yeah, they don't, even though there is definitely an age difference between these two figures, they don't feel too like, they still feel like they go together. Like when I go put him on my JoJo shelf, I think it's going to work fine. I think he's still going to look good. And for another comparison, here he is with Rohan and Josuke. And again, I do feel like you can see like an age difference between these two figures in this one. Like you can just kind of see a sharper sculpt and just a sharper figure overall. Like the sculpting of the face looks a little bit nicer, and the paintwork and all that, the shading on the outfit, even the feeling, again, it definitely feels upgraded from this, but it's still not unacceptable. It's still pretty good. And I think we just completely forgot to take a look at this head sculpt here. So let's get in here on this head sculpt real quick. It looks pretty good. Again, it's probably going for more of a manga accurate, so I don't think it 100% nails like the anime look, but it does look pretty closer to the manga, definitely. But it still definitely works. I mean, you look at it and it definitely is still Dio. Like it still looks pretty darn good. And you have his earrings right there. Again, though, like if I compared this to like Kira's head sculpt right here, it's definitely just not quite as sharp. It's still really nice, but like Kira's definitely just looks quite a bit better, quite a bit more well done and more refined, I think. But it's still pretty damn good. So the figure does show its age, but it's not horrible by any means. It's still perfectly acceptable. And then to get back to comparisons, here he is with some Figma figures right here, which I actually think this scale is actually pretty darn good. I feel like these are in good scale, other than like his head being kind of small, but I feel like this actually works like better than these two like looked with Kira. I think they were definitely too big for Kira, but I think this actually is pretty decent. And then an amazing Yamaguchi Deku and an SH Figuarts Yuta Okotsu right there. So you can get a look at how he scales with all kinds of different anime action figures right there. And again, I think it's pretty darn good. Like the scale's obviously not perfect because this figure's not trying to be in scale with these figures. It's trying to be in scale with the Super Action statue line, but I feel like you could make it work if you wanted to. Okay, so overall, the first impressions on this figure, it's good. It's definitely the weakest one I've picked up so far, but it's still good, and I still feel like this absolutely is totally passable for, like, modern action figures. Like, this is still pretty darn nice. It is definitely shoddy, and it definitely shows its age, but it's not unacceptable. And let's take a quick look at the articulation before we get into the accessories here. We do have a little bit more than 90 degrees right here at the elbow. The sculpt is just a little bit hindering it right there. You do have some movement in the arms right here. Doesn't look like we have any butterfly whatsoever, just a little bit of like rotation there. These don't, okay, these do kind of swivel a little bit, but they're very tight, so do that at your own risk. And again, very old figure, so I'm sure it probably could break. It does have a nice ball joint right here at the torso right there, which is actually really nice and snug, so that's actually pretty darn nice. Again, you can move these little pieces out of the way in order to gain access to the leg movement right there. It's a little bit weird though. You kind of it kind of like moves up. Again, very, very old figure. I think this figure came out in what, like, I don't even, I think like 2001 or something. No, not 2001, 2011 or something like that. I don't know, it doesn't say anything on the box, but I definitely think this figure is very, very, very old. Like, it probably came out around the same time that David Productions anime came out, probably, because it was probably getting like, that was probably when JoJo was like really picking up hype, because it didn't become like mainstream until David Productions anime came out. So I think it probably came out around the same time as that, which was like 2006 to 2010, around that. So it's a very, very, very old figure, and they've released it like a bunch of times too. And there's a whole bunch, and there's a couple other Dios as well. Like you can get the other later Dio from the fight with him and Jotaro, or you could get the part 1 Dio as well. All of those are definitely options, but he is definitely the cheapest of those. So actually, I think the other one, I think I think they call it Awakened or whatever. It's the one that he wears in like the final episode of the fight with him and Jotaro, where he doesn't have like this piece on and he's got this like jacket was taken off and all that. But I think like for the price of this one, I think it is, I'm honestly pretty damn happy with it. Like, I'm actually pretty surprised by how good this figure is. All right, let's finally jump into the accessories, and now it's time where I have to give my first like huge complaint with this figure, because these are our alternate heads right there. These alternate heads are not bad, but look at these two alternate heads. Like, this is almost like very, very close to the same expression, and then this one we just have a little bit of a smiling head sculpt right here. These are definitely nice, but this is freaking part 3 Dio. Where is my WARUDO head sculpt? Like, seriously? How are you gonna give me a Dio figure that doesn't have a WARUDO head sculpt? That baffles me. That absolutely baffles me. He doesn't even have like a screaming head sculpt or anything. He just has like 2 very, very like default expression head sculpts, and then this nice little smiling one right here. Let's try and see. Okay, I love how easy it is to swap the pieces out on these arms. You can see this piece right here is actually a separate piece as well, which is pretty darn cool. So there you have that alternate head sculpt right there. Also looking really nice. Yeah, very, very nice. And then we also get this one right here with a little smiling Dio expression. Right there. Little bit less painless than like Kira and Rohan were for changing their head sculpt, but not bad at all. But there you have that head sculpt. That one's fine. I think that one's pretty decent. I actually think the default one is definitely my favorite. The nice little smirking expression right here. Was it this one? Yeah, this one. This one's definitely my favorite. But I just cannot fathom not having a WARUDO head sculpt. Like, seriously, how on earth did they not think to give him a WARUDO head sculpt? I mean, look at this. Look at this. All that's missing is a nice screaming expression on the face, and it would have been perfect. Yeah, it's nice. I like this figure so far. It is definitely a nice Dio figure, but I really am missing that WARUDO head sculpt. I actually had a cool idea, so I'll actually show you guys this idea. So if you remember in the Kira review, he came with that speech bubble. Now, I know it doesn't say it, but I'm going to try and have him put this next to him and pretend like it says WARUDO. I think that's gonna be pretty darn cool. Next, let's take a look at his alternate hands here. We get some really good alternate hands. So he comes with some like kind of like relaxed or like come here hands right in the packaging right here. We get a nice splayed out hand. We get a gripping hand, it looks like. We get a pointing finger hand, which is great. I love it when they include a pointing finger hand. We get a fist for both sides, which is awesome. We get another gripping hand for this side, another splayed out hand for this side. We get this hand right here, which I'm not exactly, I think this is for holding the knife, which is pretty darn cool. And then you get another kind of splayed out hand. These are probably more to have him like putting them on his like hips right there, so you can have him like down like that. Hang on, like you can like rotate. Ooh, that's a little bit tough to do actually. There you go, kind of. Give him this thing. I think you know what we're doing. Yeah, give him like this thing. That's what those hands are for. Let's see how easy the hands are to switch out. So let's give him one of these. There we go. Not too bad at all, definitely. And then we'll pop that one off and we'll give him this pointing hand right here. There we go. Yeah, hands to switch out very, very nice and easy. Let's try and like rotate the arm right there. There you go. Even though the figure does show its age, I still think it's actually pretty damn good. So yeah, he's got some really good hands right there, so you can get him in all kinds of great expressive poses right there, especially if you have some other part 3 figures to pose alongside him. Right now, all I have is part 4 figures, so I don't have that luxury right now, but that will definitely change in the future. But you can see some really good poses right there. Like, I'm definitely having some fun with this figure. I will say, I do wish he included the cape, the purple cape that he has on for like the first episode of the fight. I think that's a really, really cool cape, and it would have been really cool if they included that as like an optional piece. I would have really liked that. But we have some more accessories to go over here. We actually get the hands right here where he has all the knives in his hand when he's fighting Jotaro, so that's really, really cool, and hopefully these are just as easy to switch out right here. So I'll just pop that off, and there you go. So you can have that. Yeah, this figure's pretty damn nice. Old, but definitely not out of the game. There you go. So you can have him with the knives right there, so he can WARUDO, and then he can throw them right there. And oh wow, this is actually a really, really nice figure, honestly. He's very, very fun. Even though he does show his age, and he's definitely the weakest one I've gotten so far, he is by no means bad, dude. This is a lot of fun. I know what I'm talking about, man. I should have known he was going to be great. All these figures are great, man. I love this freaking line. But we're not even done yet. We still have a few more accessories. We actually do get individual knives right here, which is pretty darn cool. And these, you can either give these to him and you can put them in that hand I showed you, or you can also, come on, I can't, oh my goodness gracious, they are just, there we go. You can also shove them in his belt right here, just like he does in the fight right there. So you can have these like stowed away in his belt right there. I am definitely getting some paint chipping. I feel like that's kind of to be expected with a figure this old. So there is that aspect of it. I don't feel like you can be too mad. This is like before they really got like great materials and all that for figures. Like it's definitely a sign. I don't know if sign of the times is the right way to describe this figure, but it's still, like I said, it's really nice. I know I sound like a broken record right now, much like my freaking cat who will not stop meowing. But yeah, man, I'm genuinely surprised by how good this thing is. You get lots of accessories too. Articulation's great. I like all the like optional things, like being able to put the knives in the belt right there or have him hold them, or you have this hand right. Where did you go? Where did you go? Oh my goodness, there it is. And you can give him this hand, and then you can take one of the individual knives right here and just kind of slot it between his fingers right there. And you can have him hold that like that. So yeah, you have a whole lot of fun options to do here. And we still have one more really fun accessory to show off here. He actually, like I showed on the box, he comes with the road sign that he was gonna use it to finish off Jotaro right there. So that is really cool. Obviously, he also comes with the stand, but I feel like I don't really need to show that stand every single video. I think you guys get it. It's a stand. And it's not even a cool stand like WARUDO. All right, so let's pop these out of here, and I think we can just connect them like that. And there you have the road sign right there. And then I think we just gotta pop on this hand, and then we should be able to have him holding it. There we go, just get that on there. There we go, and pop that in. And there you go. Oh, hang on. Just like wrap it in his fingers. And there you go. You can have him holding the freaking road sign. This is really cool, man. This is very much like a final battle Dio, just like a Dio versus Jotaro Dio figure, because you get all the accessories. You know, you get the knives, you get the individual knives, you get the freaking road sign right there. It's really fun, man. It's really fun. It's really cool to have all this goofy ass stuff, man. Too bad he doesn't come with a roller. Yeah, it's a nice figure, man. I'm pretty surprised. So real quick, same exact stand, nothing new, nothing special, and you can just pop it into the peg hole in his back right there. And there you go. Like I said, it's the exact same stand. I'm probably not going to be going over these in every single one of these reviews, but yes, you do include that stand as well. This figure's really cool, man. So final thoughts on the Super Action Statue Dio. Color me surprised. It's actually a pretty great figure. The accessories are great. Articulation's great. Quality is great. Yeah, aside from just a few things that are showing its age, like the paint on the figure, the sculpting of the head, the kind of lankiness of it that definitely doesn't look like it's like the same exact figures as like the Kira and the Rohan I reviewed previously. Other than that, and the lack of a WARUDO head sculpt, I think it's a great figure, honestly, and I definitely don't think, for what I paid for it, I don't think it was a bad idea at all. And it definitely does kind of get you set for what you can expect from the other Stardust Crusaders figures if you want those, which I really want Polnareff and Kakyoin from that. So yeah, if they're like this guy, I'm sure they're going to be great as well. So it's a really good figure, actually. The accessories are a lot of fun. I like that you get like all the stuff from the final battle with him and Jotaro, except for the steamroller, of course. And it's good. It's honestly good for like the price that this guy goes for these days. I definitely can recommend it. Maybe like not as your first one. You probably want to get like one of the more like modern ones first, but it's still nice. And if you do want a Dio, but you want one that's a little bit more updated, there are other options out there. Or you could even get the big one. There's a big Dio that's like this big. Well, you can see that. It's really big. They have a Jotaro one too that I definitely want as well. I'm saving up for it. But yeah, you could go with that one as well if you just wanted a Dio. And if you want a WARUDO as well, of course, you can get that as well. They have a big one for that as well. So you have a lot of options for Dio. Or you can get the Nendoroid, or you can get a scale figure. I mean, he's Dio. He's one of the most iconic characters in all of anime. There's plenty of options for Dio. But I mean, I love Dio, don't get me wrong. I love JoJo, so obviously I love Dio. But he's not my favorite villain. My favorite villain is Kira, followed by Diavolo. but he's still a great character. His fight with Jotaro is fucking iconic. It's one of my favorite fights in all of anime, and it's awesome to have this figure on the shelf. It is gonna be awesome having this figure on the shelf. And again, like I said in the beginning of this video, you cannot have a JoJo action figure collection, or a JoJo figure collection rather, without having a Dio. It doesn't work. If you do, the world explodes, or should I say, the WARUDO explodes. So with that being said, everybody, thank you all so much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, maybe give me a like and subscribe for some more JoJo figure reviews in the future. The next one will probably be jumping back to part 4 for a little bit, but then we will take another break right there with my very first part 5 figure, which will be a ton of fun. And yeah, let me know your thoughts on everything in the comments. And this is DK Guillotine, signing out. Oops, actually, I forgot to give him a rating. Let's give him a... yeah, an A. An A sounds pretty darn good. I'm kind of surprised to give him an A. I mean, all of the others I've given so far have been S's, but, you know, because of the age of the figure, he's definitely lost a few things, but it's still nice. So an A, I think, is a perfect grade for this figure. So there you have it. Thank you for watching, and for real this time, this is DK Guillotine, signing out.